Sam or whatever. I don't know why anybody would think that. I said right at the beginning that what I find fascinating is that Sam and I hear things very differently because of our backgrounds. And we have talked about the differences that we have and the disagreements that we have as to especially the, shall we say, the temperature of response that should be allowed. And I think Sam would honestly admit that there are times that he loses control of his temper, and I would hope that he would not defend the times that he's done so. But what I brought out was that in this debate, it wasn't a matter of temperature or anything like that. It was a different decision on the part of Sam and myself as to what we want to communicate and to whom. I would have responded to Chowdhury's sometimes lengthy diatribes by focusing upon different things. When you're in a debate, you're listening to the other side. You'll see I'm quickly writing notes as quickly as I can. And you need to understand that what I'm doing at that point in time is I'm listening. I'm trying to accurately hear what the person is saying. I'm trying to accurately represent what the person is saying. But there's also a secondary process going on, which is absolutely necessary, and that is I am prioritizing in light of the commitments I bring to the debate in regards to what my target audience is. I am prioritizing the points in light of those pre-debate specific commitments. Now, some people might go into the debate and not even realize that they have made those commitments. The more clearly you've thought it through, the more clearly you're going to apply them as well. But we're looking at a different audience. And very clearly, Sam is looking to press upon Chowdhury and his specific audience and a specific range of his audience, allegations of inconsistency that raise questions about the validity of the Quran and of the, especially in this situation, Salafi Muslim system of theology. I'm not so much focused upon that as wanting to make sure that maybe a different portion of that audience, the Muslim audience, hears a compelling, clear, and shall we say knockout defense of Christian truth. Now that means I'm not going to be pressing as much on inconsistencies from the Muslim perspective, but it's a choice that a person makes, and it also depends upon what you feel your strongest areas of preparation and expertise are as well. So I don't believe debates should be cookie cutter things. I'll defend my choices as to, before my Lord, why I chose to emphasize this rather than emphasizing that. But that doesn't mean that that's a necessary criticism. Now, I said, Sam asked, well, what did you think? And so I said to him on Facebook, I said, well, neither one of you stuck to the topic overly well. And it's true. I mean, sure, Sam presented an argument for the deity of Christ. Chowdhury didn't even understand what the argument was and did not show any interest in knowing. So, from Sam's perspective, hey, if he didn't refute what I already argued, I'm free to go after whatever else I want to go after. Okay, you have that freedom. Would I do that? Probably not. What I would do is I would want to present more and more arguments, because I'm not so much, I want the Muslim in whose life the Holy Spirit is working to have as much divine truth to be used as the means of enlightenment by the Spirit as I can possibly communicate in that given situation. Now, can the Holy Spirit use the inconsistencies of Salafi Islam? Sure. Again, it's a matter of choosing what your priorities are. So it's not meant to be a criticism of other methodologies. It is meant to be educational in recognizing that when we who do debates do them, we have to make certain decisions as to what we're doing in the midst of that debate. And by the way, the thing on HLN wasn't a debate. I mean, when you're given less than 2 minutes grand total, that's not a debate. So it's a completely different situation in that context.
In Samuel 8:13-14, God says, Solomon is his son. He said, I will be his father and he shall be my son, talking about Solomon.
Now, if you weren't with us last time, or if, like me, you slept since then, this is Anjem sitting there with notes, trying to make the argument that Jesus being the Son of God is irrelevant because everyone's the Son of God. And, of course, this ignores the fact, as Sam's going to bring up, that this contradicts the Quran, which does not allow any ascription of sonship at all. And secondly, it completely ignores the context of the use of the phrase Son of God, specifically in regards to Jesus, because he is the monogenes huios, tou theou, the unique Son of God. And the reaction of the Jews, and it's funny, a lot of even Sheikh Umar a couple weeks ago started off by saying, well, are we going to believe how the Jews respond to Jesus? And the answer is yes. When Jesus makes claims and the Jews respond and Jesus does not correct them, then yes, we can look at that. John chapter 5, classic example, making himself equal with God. In the rest of what follows, Jesus does not say, oh, I was not making myself equal with God. What follows is Jesus saying, I'm not making myself a separate God, a competing God. The Father and I, we do what is absolutely harmonious. I do not operate from myself. But what I do in perfect harmony with the Father. But he doesn't say, oh no, that's not what I'm saying. So it's funny, they follow the old Ahmadiyyat, Jesus never said he was God, worship me. But when Jesus has opportunity to say, I am not deity, you are not to honor me as deity, he says the exact opposite.